Hey, it's Lynn Brown. Welcome to the Gritty Women Global Podcast, episode 132. Now, trust me when I say this. Before becoming a results coach, I was a world-class people pleaser. And then in my spare time, I was literally trapped by the opinions of other people. It was more like living in a mental prison. Honestly, I can say that one day I got sick and tired of being sick and tired, and I drew a line in the sand. And it was that day that I began to bet on myself for the first time ever. Is anybody there? Maybe you're just coming out of that yourself or going into it, or you're in the middle of it, but you're in the right place today. There are no accidents. I've been pondering just the changes that have happened in my life over the last 60 days. Now that sounds crazy because we've had 365, well, not totally yet. We're 50 days away to the finish here. But so we've been traveling through this 2022 pretty fast here. I don't know if it was fast for y'all. But in the last 60 days, I have experienced more change than I have the whole year. And we're going to talk about that today. I just thought it would be helpful for us to really slow down for a minute and think, now what if? What if? Have you ever had an opportunity come your way and you really, really, really wanted to jump all in, but you didn't? Or maybe you slid in through the side door and tiptoed through a few motions only to later on just kind of slither out the back. I've done that so many times, y'all. I can't even begin to count the opportunities that have come my way. Some I took advantage of, some I did halfway, some I just literally tossed into the wind. But this one, something different happened to me about 60 days ago. I got this nudge. One of my dear friends I've known for over 15 years. I reached out to her and I was like, "What are you doing?" And she shared with me just an opportunity that was just truly like one of those once in a lifetime ones, and something told me to do it. Something told me to go for it. But it's that feeling in your knower that it's just time to stretch and it's time to get uncomfortable. And I did it. I jumped in. And I'm going to share with y'all what I'm doing in just a minute. But I have been stretched in so many ways. I feel like for the first time in my life, I am truly putting my dream to the test. Now, y'all know I'm all about daily gratitude, and I'm all about that gritty mindset. And part of my daily routine with my Jesus time is writing down my dreams as if they have ever happened. And I know that some of you are sitting here going, yeah, I think about things that I want in my life. And y'all, for the first half of my life, I thought about things I wanted in my life, but it wasn't until I began to write them down. 7 years ago, I had an amazing coach in my life, Debbie Strothman, and she told me to write a check to myself for $3,500. Well, I thought that was a huge amount, and she said, just write that number down. I never dreamed that there would come a day when I would make that in a day. I never dreamed it. I never really believed it would happen until it did. But one of the hardest things that I've had to do is a time and a period of my life where I went through a direct selling company and it went sideways. And it's a long story, and I'm not going into all the details now, but we went through bankruptcy, and it was so hard. And I had to sell the land that my daddy and my mama had given us. They gave us all some acreage on our farm that we grew up on. And it was so hard because I had to sell that land during that time. We've been under a lot of pressure, and it was just part of the process to alleviate some of that debt. But I knew the day that would come when I would be able to repurchase that land, that gift that my parents had given me. Over the last few years, I've been focused on living a true, authentic life. Really living from my truth. To live from my truth and live the life God designed for me. Well, when I bet on myself 60 days ago, I got to see in real time the transforming power of God's promises. The short version is basically me being a mouthpiece And by doing so, it has brought so much encouragement to small and medium businesses. Now, this sounds so weird because it was so, at first it was like, Lynn, is this out of your wheelhouse? Because I've never dealt with funding or helping people financially, because honestly, I never saw myself in that space because I had had such a hard time in that in my life. But I realized that I was adding value to people. I was being a messenger. I was sharing good news. And that's what I do. I try to do that all the time. And I don't always succeed, but I try to live my life from that place of encouragement. So becoming part of this team that was called Tax Rebate Specialists, but becoming part of that team and letting small to medium businesses know that have been through a hard time over this last 3 years. Would y'all agree with me that businesses have been hit hard over the last 3 years? Regardless of how you feel about anything that we've experienced, there was some hard crap that people had to deal with. And I'm not getting into that because I'm not really, I don't, I live my life to serve people, to serve Jesus first, serve my family, and serve people. But I can remember several years ago I had a mentor and we were talking about this discussion of how there will come a time in your life when your weekly income exceeds your monthly and your daily income exceeds your weekly. And y'all, I will have to tell you, in the last 60 days I have seen that happen. For 2 years I have been writing about purchasing the land back, purchasing that land back in 2022. And y'all, it's happening right before my eyes. The point of me sharing this story is to say that when we stand up on the truth, and when we stand on the promises of God, and when we remember the covenant and the promises that He said to us and spoke over us, when we stand still and know that He is God, then we will do and see things that exceed anything we could ever dream or imagine. And I am so grateful for the team that had a dream to start this tax rebate specialist team to help small and medium businesses get their rebates back. I told you it sounds crazy. It sounds so foreign of anything that I would ever do. But when I realized that it was a gift, maybe wrapped in a different package. But how many of you know, right? We all know God's creative. I mean, my goodness. He makes a giraffe, and then He makes a sand dollar, and then He makes a Lynn Brown, and then He makes a you. So, I mean, He's quite creative. But what about you? What have you been putting off? What have you been pushing away? What have you been getting ready to do? I have heard so many people in my life talk about what they're getting ready to do. I'm getting ready to get ready. I'm gonna get healthy when. I'm gonna do this when. I'm gonna hang the pictures in the house when. I'm gonna win, and life just flies by. I want you to think about this. I want you to look at this last 50 days of 2022. That's it. We have 50 days. 50 days left, and decide where you want to be at the end of this year. Where do you want to be 60 days from now? I have a birthday coming on Christmas Eve, and so I just decided that this last 50 days that I'm going to focus on strength training in area of my life, in my mind, my body, and my spirit. So I'm going to be growing strong in my body, my mind, and my spirit. And yes, that's going to impact other things. It's going to impact my relationships. It's going to impact my financial goals for the end of this year. So yes, that means doing lunges. It means doing lunges every day. It means being intentionally focused on my business. When I'm supposed to make calls and follow up and work with new team members, that's what I have to do. I can't get distracted. I can't go for long lunches and long coffee breaks. Even though that's fun, I can't get distracted with the things that can distract me, like right now, me wanting to even decorate for Christmas, which I'm going to be doing very soon. But it means saying no to some things. I might not be able to go shopping every time, the opportunity comes around. But there are no fairies coming to do this for us. Nobody is going to do it for you. Nobody, I repeat, nobody is coming for you. So yes, I can hardly wait every day to wake up. I truly get excited when my feet hit the floor because I know there's a new opportunity that's going to move me closer to my goal. And yes, it starts with the discipline of the morning. It starts with my daily gratitude and my devotion time with Jesus and making my bed and working out first. Then I go into my day. Matthew 6:34 says, you give your entire attention to what God has for you to do right now. And people of purpose are willing to be left behind. Stop the mind games. Stop the stories. Pause the chaos. And ask yourself, who's really your bully? Who's bullying you right now? Good chance it's not anybody from the outside. It's not your circumstances. It's you. It's time for the new. I love that word renew, to reevaluate, and with the hopes of emerging with a new idea and mindset. We all know that verse. You probably know it better than I do. You probably know where it is in the Bible, but you can't put new wine in old wineskins, because you know what you do? If you do it, what you're going to find is that the old skins burst, so you end up with nothing. Your wine spills, your old skins are burst, and you have nothing. So are you ready? Are you willing? My gritty sister, Bridget Krause, just one of my favorite humans in all the world, she asked me on October 20th of 2020, she said, are you willing? Are you willing to let it go to see what God has for you? It was a game changer. And if I had not been willing, I would not be finishing up my best year ever. The time is now. Yes, we only have 50 days left in this year. But do you know what can happen in 50 days? A lot can happen. Because I have seen so many changes in the last 50. I can't even imagine what the next 50 are going to bring. So don't just coast through the next 50 days. Let's slay the next 50 days. It's all about that gritty finish. And I'm going to add this too. So I'm just going to tell y'all, if you want to earn some part-time money, if some of you or maybe you know somebody, friends, family, somebody that mentioned at work, they need additional income, they need a different way to another stream of income. You know, honestly, we should all have multiple streams of income. Right now, there are a lot of people that are in tight places. And so if you know of somebody there, please just have them give me a call. My number is 850-464-1350. Just call me. I'll give you the details. Chat soon. Stay gritty. And the world needs us at our best. Keep shining bright. And I'll see you at the finish line.